Oh, New York. What were you thinking? What were you thinking? And to be fair, I can ask this question in hindsight because, look, I, alongside most of you guys, thought that this was a good trade at the time. I thought, you know what? You have all these picks. Mikal Bridges is there. Win with the power of friendship and all that. I drank the Kool-Aid. I thought the Nova boys would win. I thought the power of friendship was winning. But clearly it's not looking like it's working out. So before we get on to it, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. If we can hit 5.3k by the end of the day, we're only 23 off. That'd be absolutely insane. But anyway, we have got to talk about Mikal Bridges. We got to talk about the New York Knicks. We got to talk about both of these because we've got a man here who they traded so much for. They traded so much for Mikal Bridges. They literally gave Bojan 5 first-round picks. Bojan and 5 first-round picks for him. Because you know what? You know what they expected? They expected Mikal Bridges to be this lockdown 3-and-D exceptional player. And he's just not that. The New York Knicks right now are 9-7. And I get it. They just lost their last one game. And you might be saying, oh, they're 4 in the Eastern Conference. Man, they are 9-7. They would be 9th in the West. They are not a very good team. They're barely above 500. And you've got Mikal Bridges absolutely saying, look, they're worse than last year. That's the problem. They are worse than last year. With Mikal Bridges averaging 15, 3, and 3 while shooting for the season. What are his stats for the season? He is shooting this season 63% from the free throw line, 30% from 3, and 46% from the field. At least his field goal percentage is up on last year. But we saw last year, he was not a good number 1 option. We saw in Phoenix that he was an all NBA level defender who could still put up some buckets. He was averaging 17 points per game in Phoenix 2 seasons ago. And then he just hit a hot streak. When he got traded to Brooklyn in the 2022-2023 season, he hit a hot streak where he averaged 26 points per game as the number 1 option. But when he became the number 1 option, his defense really started to diminish. And then last year, he averaged 19 points per game. Shooting was down. And he also really didn't play defense. So what people thought was going to happen was, you know what? He's going to go to New York. He's not going to be the number 1 option anymore. We saw in Phoenix that he might actually be the best 3rd option in the entire NBA. And, we're going to bring him in. We're going to bring in Cat. We're going to bring in, and we're going to keep Brunson. And then we're going to have him and OG Anunoby who are going to shore up the defense. Nope. He is now currently playing defense like he did in Brooklyn, which is, I'm the first option on offense. I'm not going to play that much defense. And playing offense worse than he did in Phoenix. You got the worst of everything. You've got the worst of everything. You have traded 5 first-round picks. You traded 5 first-round picks for, I'm not joking, a guy who at this point in time may not be better than Tobias Harris. And I don't mean to insult Tobias Harris. I don't mean to use Tobias Harris as an insult. But, he is the poster boy of, not great. And I know you might be saying, oh, what am I talking about? Look at the stats. They're putting up almost the equivalent stats to each other. Their defense, neither of them are playing that much defense. And in fairness, the Pistons are overperforming. He's at least shooting better than them. Mikal Bridges. The Knicks have a Mikal Bridges problem. They gave up their future. Well, not even gave up their future. They went all in on Mikal Bridges. They could have used those 5 picks. 5 firsts. You could have gotten anyone with 5 firsts. There are so many players in the NBA you can get with 5 firsts. And you took Mikal Bridges. And I understand he's on a decent enough contract and you want to get the Nova boys back together. But as soon as that happens, DiVincenzo wants out. Genuinely, we're looking at a guy who is looking like a bang average player in the NBA. a supremely average player. We're looking at a guy who might not be as good as like modern day DeMar DeRozan, who's like, what, in his mid-30s now? Like, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at the freaking modern day DeRozan. To be fair, like, again, he's nothing absolutely spectacular either at this point in time, but like, he's still averaging 22, 4, and 4 on better shooting. Is he shooting better from 3? No. Or is he? Yeah, he's shooting better from 3. DeMar DeRozan shoots better from 3 than him. Like, the Knicks screwed themselves. They went all in on a guy who is like the 5th best player on their team now. Like, genuinely. Like, they should have just paid Hartenstein. They should have just tried to find a way to move players around that they could pay Hartenstein. They should have just run it back. Like, keep Randall, keep Hartenstein, run it back. They were better last year. After the OG trade, if OG was healthy, they were better last year. But at the same time, hindsight is 2020. That is one of the biggest things. Hindsight is 2020 because I thought this was a good trade at the time. I think most of you guys thought this was a good trade at the time. I think an awful lot of people thought this was a good trade at the time. But this will go down as a disaster trade. There are worse trades, like Milwaukee trading for Dame, because it gave the Celtics what's the name? Because it gave the Celtics Drew Holiday. Lakers trading for Russ. Suns trading for Shaq. And a lot of teams closed their window by going all in. And at least the Knicks didn't close any window because they didn't have a window and they were hoping this would push them over the edge. But, like, it's not looking good. It's really not looking good. And let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree? Do you guys disagree with me? And either way, like, you can agree and disagree. It's fine. I'm completely fine with somebody completely disagreeing with my take. You can argue it's too early. I just don't know. I really just don't know when it comes to Mikal Bridges. I just think that we've seen the peak of Mikal Bridges. His jump shot's looking funkier by the season. He's one of the worst top of the key 3-point shooters. Like, I don't know. People are going to lethal shooter. Like, he's a pretty good corner 3-point shooter, but terrible at the top of the 3-point line. Like, maybe instead of going to lethal shooter, maybe he should go to Cash Nasty. Like, that wet, to get that wet like water top of the key shot down. But, like, it's not going well. It's really not going well for either the Knicks or Mikal Bridges.